For the final quarter of 2024 into 2025, is this the moment where Android flagship phones really showcase just how good their battery are? Well, let's find out with this extreme battery drain test between the Oppo Find X8 Pro versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option. Let's get into it. No time wasting, let's get into this extreme battery drain test between the Oppo Find X8 Pro, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now, we'll go through the exact parameters of how I set up for this extreme battery drain test at the end of this test, so stick around for it. But for now, what you need to know is that we are doing this on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option. And with our extreme battery drain test, we do shoot it as one continuous video with no stops, no cuts. We only speed up in the important areas so you don't have to sit around for hours like I had to. If you don't believe me, we actually did this as a private live stream because the Oppo Find X8 Pro was under embargo. So we'll have it linked in the description below. So if you appreciate the level of effort that we put into these type of testing, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos on the Lover of Tech channel, especially when it comes to our extreme battery drain test. Road to 100k subscribers is still on the table for 2024. It's going to be a long stretch, but let's try and do it. If not, mid 2025 would be great. Now, let's get into it. 9 tasks, 8 applications. The first one is 1 hour of TikTok. And like I always say, TikTok is like the wicked Wild West when it comes to consuming content and posting on there. So hard to figure out how things really work over there. Things hit and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just a bit crazy how you use it. But we are there. So if you want to see more vertical related content from us at Lover of Tech when it comes to technology, then be sure to follow us there at Lover of Tech BA. So pretty much rounding up after an hour of TikTok, we're pretty much going to be seeing where the battery is for these devices. And it's 95% battery, 27.4 degrees Celsius minus 5% battery loss on the Oppo. 95% battery, 27.6 degrees Celsius minus 5% battery loss on the iPhone. 86% battery, 30.6 degrees Celsius minus 14% battery loss on the Samsung. And then 91% battery, 29.5 degrees Celsius minus 9% battery loss on the Pixel. So yeah, we're pretty much running through, and the next task is going to be an hour of Instagram Reels. And like I've said it before, more recently, Instagram has actually easily become my favorite social media platform when it comes to consuming content and also posting with collaborative posting features, and also just keeping up with people, friends and family, with the amount of memes and reels that we send each other. And of course, the most important thing that I've been really enjoying recently, behind the scenes of what's going on at Lover of Tech when it comes to the most upcoming thing that we're posting for content, product releases, and press trips in different countries. So if you want to see more BTS from us here at Lover of Tech, be sure to follow us on Instagram at loveroftech_BA. So yeah, after an hour of Instagram Reels, where will we be? 86% battery, 27.3 degrees Celsius, minus 9% battery loss on the Oppo. 83% battery, 27.8 degrees Celsius, minus 12% battery loss on the iPhone. And then we've got 70% battery on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, temperature reading of 29.6 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the Samsung. And then 77% battery, 31.2 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the Pixel. So the Oppo had the most efficient run at 86% battery, 27.3 degrees Celsius, and just 9% battery loss, then followed by the iPhone. And then we've got the Pixel and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Next is an hour of Instagram Live. And this is probably one of the most intensive parts of our extreme battery drain test. And with the live streaming, again, this is still being done on mobile data only, no Wi-Fi option. It's something I do on a regular basis when it comes to doing Q&As and engaging with my followers and audience, and also doing collab live streams with my peers in the tech scene. So this is something that is very personal to me that I do on a regular basis. So it's very much a reference point for how things can get really extreme, but very important and something I do on a regular basis. So after an hour of Instagram Live, you do have 73% battery, 31.7 degrees Celsius, minus 13% battery loss on the Oppo. And then with the iPhone is 67% battery, 33.0 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss. And then with the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, it's 50% battery, 33.9 degrees Celsius, minus 20% battery loss. And then with the Pixel, it is 59% battery, 34.8 degrees Celsius, minus 18% battery loss. So again, most efficient one is the Oppo, then followed by the iPhone, then the Pixel, and then the Galaxy S24 Ultra taking a big hit there. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting one to see. Having over 70% battery after 3 hours, man, this Oppo Find X8 is on smoke and is here to say, yo, I'm going to take you the distance today. Woo, let's pretty much go through it. Next one is an hour of YouTube. We're doing this on mobile data as stated. We're doing this at 1440p 60 fps, and this is one of our definitive camera comparisons with the S24 Ultra when it first came out in January 2024. So we're pretty much blisting through, and this is where the modem is getting worked. The screen is on full screen, and the experience here is definitely one where it uses the most amount of mobile data out of all the tasks that we do. So there is a lot happening here when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to the modem, battery, screen experience, and data consumption. So yeah, everything's all happening at once. So after 1 hour, 62% battery, 29.0 degrees Celsius, minus 11% battery loss on the Oppo, 53% battery, 28.3 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the iPhone, and then 33% battery, 29.8 degrees Celsius, minus 17% battery loss on the Samsung, and then 45% battery, 29.5 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the Pixel. Again, Oppo the most efficient on this run, then actually matched even by the Pixel on the iPhone in terms of percentage, and then the most that it took a hit was the Samsung at 17%. So next is an hour of YouTube music, and is probably my favorite rap project of all time, Kanye West's College Dropout. And this album, when it comes to doing these extreme battery drain tests, is not easy. So when it gets to there, it really does boost my morale and energy. And the track that was really carrying me through this time was Kanye featuring Jay-Z, Never Let You Down. Because boy, the motivation I need to do this on a consistent basis, to never let you down as my audience, that's the track that really motivated me through. So pretty much an hour of YouTube music. We have 52% battery, 25.7 degrees Celsius, minus 10% battery loss on the Oppo, and then 38% battery, 28.2 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss on the iPhone, and then 17% battery, 28.8 degrees Celsius, minus 16% battery loss on the Samsung, and then 33% battery, 27.3 degrees Celsius, minus 12% battery loss on the Pixel. So yeah, boy, that Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, man, is calling it in. And we've still got over 50% battery left on the Oppo. Look, you gotta pray for me. How long is this gonna actually be? Well, next is X Spaces, or is it Twitter Spaces? Are you old school with Twitter or new school with X? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, Twitter Spaces is like a chat room service where you can pretty much create a chat room on Twitter, have a topic, discuss it with your followers, and your peers actually join in. This is something I like doing on a regular basis when I get a chance to. Twitter itself and X is something I don't use on a regular basis, but X Spaces and Twitter Spaces, I'm kind of cool with it. So this is something I use to connect with my peers and my audience as well. So decent following there. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, definitely Lover of Tech BA, we're there too. So 42% battery, 27.9 degrees Celsius, minus 10% battery loss on the Oppo, 30% battery, 25.1 degrees Celsius, minus 8% battery loss on the iPhone, 8% battery, 25.6 degrees Celsius, minus 9% battery loss on the Samsung, and then we've got 19% battery, 30.2 degrees Celsius, minus 14% battery loss on the Pixel. So the most efficient one was actually the iPhone, then followed by the Samsung, then the Oppo, then the Pixel. So yeah, this one is something to actually take into consideration. Next is 4K 60 recording, an hour of it. Which one's gonna pack in first? And unfortunately, it is Samsung. It is packing it in at 6 hours, 6 minutes, and 29 seconds with a final temperature reading of 29.9 degrees Celsius. In fourth place is the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Part for the cause, we've done plenty of battery drain tests with it, so it's probably worn out a bit more than most. But yeah, this is pretty much what we've been getting consistently throughout the year when it comes to the Galaxy S24 Ultra. After 15 minutes, 37% battery, 34.4 degrees Celsius on the Oppo, 25% battery, 30.4 degrees Celsius on the iPhone. And then you've got 12% battery, 37.5 degrees Celsius on the Pixel. So we're pretty much knowing that how things are with the Pixel, based on previous testing, we should be getting around 6 hours 40, 6 hours 45 minutes when it comes to the finishing. So let's get to the 6.5 hour mark and see where we are. At that point, 32% battery, 36.2 degrees Celsius on the Oppo, 20% battery, 36.2 degrees Celsius on the iPhone, and then 5% battery, 39.3 degrees Celsius on the Pixel. The Pixel's cooking up when it comes to the temp, and the battery is now on 5%. So how long is it going to stretch for? Is it going to stretch for another 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 15 minutes? Let's see what happens with the Pixel, but we should somewhere be around 6 hour 40, 6 hour 45 minutes based on historical testing. So let's see how far it stretches. So when is it going to pack in? And it does pack in right now at 6 hours, 41 minutes, in 8 seconds with a final temperature reading of 40.2 degrees Celsius. In third place is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now let's get to the 6 hour 45 minute mark and see where we are with the Oppo and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And at that point, what we're seeing in terms of the battery is 26% battery, 37.8 degrees Celsius on the Oppo Find X8 Pro, and then 16% battery, 33.1 degrees Celsius on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So yeah, most Android phones tend to need somewhere between 24 to 27% battery to do a whole hour of 4K 60 recording or 4K recording at 30 FPS, depending on what is actually supported. And the iPhone is somewhere between 15 to 20% when it comes to how much battery. So give or take, we'll see how they finish. 7 hour mark, 21% battery, 39.4 degrees Celsius, minus 21% battery loss on the Oppo, 10% battery left on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Temperature reading of 34.6 degrees Celsius, minus 20% battery loss. Ooh, so this is quite efficient. But again, the battery on the Oppo Find X8 Pro is huge. We'll cover that at the end, including the parameters as well. Now, it's gaming. So an hour of gaming with Asphalt Unite, and we cranked up all the graphical settings, and this new Dimensity 9400 3nm chipset supports ultra high quality graphics. So yeah, we are really pushing the Oppo, and this is something we're gonna see if it's gonna make it through a whole hour of gaming. So which packs it in first? It is the iPhone at 7 hours, 30 minutes and 41 seconds, a final temperature reading of 32.6 degrees Celsius. In second place, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, this is par for the course from what we've been getting. I think this is the third extreme battery drain test at the time of this recording that we've done on the iPhone. So yeah, compared to the first run that we ever did, that did about 7 hours and 47 minutes. So things have tapered down with updates, but we'll go through the parameters after. Now, when it comes back to the Oppo Find X8 Pro, boy, it's cruising. And it pretty much has breezed through an hour of gaming. At this point, there's 6% battery left, a temperature reading of 32.9 degrees Celsius, minus 15% battery loss. So yeah, it's a big battery loss, but it made it through gaming. It's now in a league of few phones that actually make it to WhatsApp video call. And boy, oh boy, as a flagship phone, this is probably going to be the longest lasting flagship phone. This is actually going to break the 9 hour mark where we have to start the test from the beginning with TikTok. Well, let's sit back and see how it goes. When we get to the last 1%, the super power saver mode actually activates at the 8 hour and 25 minute mark. So we have to reset it back to a normal setting to see how long it lasts. Now, when we do that, we full screen it again with WhatsApp video call with the front facing camera and mobile data. And then as we are pushing through, how long is it gonna last for? And it does pack in at the 8 hour mark, 28 minutes, 47 seconds, a final temperature reading of 29.9 degrees Celsius. And in first place, it's the Oppo Find X8 Pro. So in fourth place is the Galaxy S24 Ultra with a finishing time of 6 hours, 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Now, yes, this is my original review unit that I got when I went to Unpacked in San Jose, January 2024 this year. So it's been through a lot when it comes to the multiple battery drain tests that we've done on this device and just the daily usage. So yeah, it's probably worn down a bit, but honestly, it's par for the course for the same results that we've been getting all the way through the year. So this is pretty much what we've been getting. And in this test, it's fourth place, finishing time. Galaxy S24 Ultra at 6 hours, 6 minutes and 29 seconds. So in third place is the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL with a finishing time of 6 hours, 41 minutes and 8 seconds. So yeah, this is par for the course. Usually when we're doing these extreme battery drain tests on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, we are finishing around 6 hour, 40 minutes, 6 hour, 45 minutes. So this is very accurate and on point. Google have done a great job to really improve battery life experience on their flagship phones. And yeah, this is what we're getting in third place on the Pixel 9 Pro XL with a finishing time of 6 hours, 41 minutes and 8 seconds. So in second place is the iPhone 16 Pro Max with a finishing time of 7 hours, 30 minutes and 41 seconds. So yeah, what is actually happening here when it comes to the battery life experience on the iPhone? It is a great improvement from before, considering the battery capacity size at 4,685 milliamps. Yeah, this is a good looking out in the optimization of the 3nm second generation chipset and iOS, all things put together. This is a very strong outing from Apple, and to make it through a whole hour 4K 60 recording, yeah, this ain't no joke. This is a good look. But this is what we're getting this time on this run. Second place, iPhone 16 Pro Max, finishing time, 7 hours, 30 minutes, and 41 seconds. So in first place in this extreme battery drain test is the Oppo Find X8 Pro with a finishing time of 8 hours, 28 minutes, and 47 seconds. This, at the time of this recording, has got to be the longest lasting flagship phone I've tested in 2024 so far. It's no joke. I thought at one point it was actually going to be the first flagship phone and phone overall to break the 9-hour barrier mark and start the test again from TikTok on mobile data. This is impressive stuff. Oppo did not miss, and they weren't here to play. In this extreme battery drain test, in first place, the Oppo Find X8 Pro with a finishing time of 8 hours, 28 minutes, and 47 seconds. Now for the juicy details. What were the exact parameters that we used to set up for this extreme battery drain test? First thing I said, this is completely done on mobile data only with no Wi-Fi option. We are using Vodafone's UK network on prepaid on 4G. All of them are topped up with £10 on their big value bundle, which gives them 7 GB of data. That's what we're using to run this test. Next is the display calibration. We've disabled any form of adaptive and auto brightness setting on all these phones. Any form of true tone or adaptive color tone display settings have been disabled, and on a clear white background we have tried to calibrate it as close to 200 nits as possible across the board. So this is what we've done with the screen calibration. Now for the settings for each phone. Let's start with the Oppo Find X8 Pro because that is the main phone of focus for this extreme battery drain test. First is the display. In terms of the resolution, we kept it at the default standard 1080p resolution at 2376 by 1080. We disabled the adaptive details enhancement setting, and for the refresh rate at 120 Hz, we actually left it on auto for it to do its thing when it comes to using what is the variable refresh rate. Now for the battery and the performance settings. The most important thing to take note is once we go into the battery settings on the Oppo Find X8 Pro, there are 4 battery modes. We've got the high performance mode, balance mode, power saver mode, and super power saver mode. The default is the balance mode. Now, this is the first extreme battery drain test that we're running on the Oppo Find X8 Pro, so we're gonna do it and leave it in the balance mode, but if there is a follow-up, we will put it up to the high performance mode to see how this affects the performance when it comes to the battery. Now, of course, this is a new device, so when it comes to the battery health, it is 100%, so we should be getting maximum performance. And of course, at the time of this recording, the Oppo Find X8 Pro is running the latest version of Color OS 15, which is based on Android 15. Next is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, iPhones are pretty straightforward. First, we go into the battery section and we can see that the battery health is 100% with only 20 charge cycles on it. So this is going to get the best battery performance as we're pretty much going to be testing this extreme battery drain test. You can't change the screen resolution when it comes to where it is, so it's fixed at that resolution. And of course, the refresh rate is 120 Hz on by default. We haven't gone into motion to reduce it to 60 Hz. It's 120 Hz and it's going to do its thing when it comes to the variable refresh rate. And as stated, when we go into the accessibility setting and into display, we have disabled auto brightness for a consistent display calibration as we did before. And at the time of this recording, we are doing this on iOS 18.1 when it comes to the software. Next is the Galaxy S24 Ultra. First is the display. When we go into the resolution, we have left it in the standard 1080p mode. And of course, the adaptive 120 Hz refresh rate is on. And this is pretty much what we have when it comes to the display settings. In any form of video brightness feature settings have been disabled to make sure we get the consistent brightness locked in. And of course, auto brightness, adaptive brightness has been disabled and the display calibrated as stated. And when we go into the battery settings, any form of power saving options that actually will limit the performance of the battery all the way through have been disabled, such as turning off the always on display, limiting the CPU speed to 70%, and decreasing brightness by 10%. Next is the performance profile. Under device care, we have actually changed the performance profile from standard to light to see if this helps the Galaxy S24 Ultra in any way, shape, or form. And at the time of this recording, this is running the latest November software update on One UI 6.1 based on Android 14 for the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now for the Pixel 9 Pro XL. First is the display. We have kept it in the default high resolution native, not the full resolution, which is the 2244 24 by 1008 resolution, which is pretty much slightly under 1080p natively when it comes to the display. 120 Hz has been enabled, adaptive brightness turned off as well. When we go into the battery settings, any form of adaptive charging and especially adaptive battery setting has been disabled to give us the most consistent performance all the way through when it comes to the battery. Pixels are pretty much straightforward to set up. When we check the latest software version, it is on the latest November update running on Android 15. And this is a quick glance of the Geekbench 6 scores across these devices. And the first results that you're seeing on the Oppo Find X8 Pro was this actually done in the high performance mode. So it is scoring a higher benchmark, especially when it comes to the multi-score core against what we're seeing on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And then when we actually put it in the balance mode and benchmark it there, we can see that it scores lower. So this is where next time, if not live already, we will be doing this in the high performance mode to see how this affects the battery life when it comes to the Oppo Find X8 Pro. This is something that was synonymous from before, carries over. This helps with battery management and the performance of the phone feels great still. So take that into consideration when it comes to performance and what applications you're using. A quick rundown of the specs and performance, starting with the Oppo Find X8 Pro. It is running the latest MediaTek Dimensity 9400 chipset, and this is on TSMC's second generation 3nm process, and it is packing 16 gigabytes of RAM, and my model does have 512 gigabytes of storage, and battery capacity is on the new silicon carbon battery at 5,910 milliamp hours. For the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it is running on Apple's A18 Pro chipset with 8 gigabytes of RAM, my model of 1 terabyte of storage, and it is packing approximately a 4,685 milliamp hour battery. For the Galaxy S24 Ultra, it is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 4 Galaxy chipset with 12 gigabytes of RAM, and my model having 256 gigabytes of storage, and it is packing a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And for the Pixel 9 Pro XL, it is powered by Google's Tensor G4 chipset with 16 gigabytes of RAM, my model with 256 gigabytes of storage, and it's packing a 5,060 milliamp hour battery. Now that is it with this extreme battery drain test between the Oppo Find X8 Pro, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. What's your thoughts on these results? Were you impressed or surprised at all from what you saw? Let me know in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad. You don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.